What if the final book of the Bible isn't just prophecy, but a coded vision of everything to come? Imagine a scroll sealed 7 times, waiting to be opened. Inside it, visions so vivid and terrifying that they've haunted humanity for nearly 2,000 years. A red horse galloping through war-torn lands, a pale rider casting shadows of death, a beast with 7 heads rising from the sea, and a number, 666, etched not just into skin, but into the very fabric of fear. But what do these visions really mean? Are they predictions of future world events, divine warnings wrapped in symbolism, or reflections of an ancient world trying to make sense of chaos? Could these cryptic images from Revelation actually be speaking to us today? About power, corruption, destruction, and hope? Are they supernatural signs, or metaphorical messages designed to challenge and awaken us? The Book of Revelation, written by a man named John during his exile on the island of Patmos, is unlike anything else in Scripture. It reads like a fever dream: plagues of fire, stars crashing to earth, creatures no imagination could invent. It's dramatic, it's symbolic, it's apocalyptic literature at its most intense, and it's obsessed over by scholars, theologians, and conspiracy theorists alike. Its words have shaped Western thought for centuries. Entire religions and belief systems have been built around its messages. Political movements have quoted it. Pop culture has reimagined it, from terrifying movies to best-selling novels. But despite all this attention, few people truly understand what Revelation is trying to say, or why it was written in the first place. They've heard the terms: Armageddon, the Antichrist, the rapture, but rarely do they dive deep enough to uncover what these ideas originally meant, or what they've come to mean through centuries of interpretation. In this video, we're diving all the way in. We'll begin with the 7 seals and the terrifying horsemen they unleash. We'll explore the meaning behind the number 666 and the rise of 2 beasts. We'll unravel the visions of dragons, cosmic battles, and a new Jerusalem descending from heaven. And along the way, we'll ask, was Revelation meant to scare us or to give us hope? Could it be a message not about destruction, but renewal? Whether you're a lifelong believer or just someone fascinated by prophecy and mystery, this is the video that will decode the most cryptic book in the Bible and maybe change how you see the end of the world. The scroll is sealed, not once, but 7 times, and only one being in all creation is deemed worthy to break them: the Lamb, described as slain yet alive. As each seal is broken, the heavens shake and visions pour out, unveiling not just destruction, but a deeper truth about the human condition. The first seal opens. A rider on a white horse emerges. He carries a bow and wears a crown, riding out as a conqueror bent on conquest. But is he a symbol of righteous victory or deception? Some believe he represents Christ. Others see him as the Antichrist, or a symbol of false peace that ushers in greater chaos. His white robe mimics purity, but his intent may be domination. The second seal unleashes a red horse. This rider wields a great sword, and with him comes war, not just battles, but civil unrest, conflict, and bloodshed. Peace is stripped from the earth. Brother turns against brother. Empires crumble under the weight of their own violence. Then comes the third seal, the black horse. Its rider holds a pair of scales, a symbol of economic collapse and famine. A voice cries out prices, exorbitant for basic goods, signaling scarcity. A quart of wheat for a day's wages, hunger that punishes the poor, while oil and wine, the luxuries, are left untouched. It's inequality laid bare. The fourth seal breaks. The pale horse appears, its color the sickly hue of a corpse. The rider is named Death, and Hades follows close behind. This is more than mortality. This is global disaster, pestilence, beasts, hunger, warfare. A quarter of the earth falls to his judgment. These 4 horsemen are terrifying, yes, but they also feel strangely familiar. They echo the cycles of human history: war, conquest, disease, economic collapse. None of these are new. Revelation doesn't invent them. It names them. It reveals how these forces are always galloping at the edges of our societies, sometimes right through them. With the fifth seal, the vision shifts. Beneath the altar in heaven, the souls of martyrs cry out. They demand justice, not vengeance, but divine recognition. How long, O Lord, is their cry? It's a haunting image of those who suffered for their faith, suspended in a divine waiting room. The sixth seal unleashes chaos. A massive earthquake. The sun turns black, the moon becomes blood, and the stars fall. The sky rolls back like a scroll. It's cosmic upheaval. The powerful, kings, generals, elites, flee and beg to be hidden from the wrath of the Lamb. There's no escape, no privilege. Everyone faces the same reckoning. And then, the seventh seal. But instead of fire or thunder, there's silence, a full half hour of it, according to the text. Total stillness in heaven. This may be the most terrifying moment of all, a pause that feels like the universe itself is holding its breath. Is this a divine pause before judgment? A holy stillness before the trumpets sound? This silence forces reflection. After all the noise, chaos, and cries, the seventh seal invites us to listen, not just to prophecy, but to our own conscience. What does it reveal? The seals aren't merely plagues. They are symbols of deeper truths. They tell us that destruction doesn't just come from the heavens. It often begins with us, through our desire for control, our failure to care for one another, our hunger for war and wealth. The apocalypse isn't just a future threat. It's the mirror we dare not look into. If the Four Horsemen represent chaos unleashed, the next visions in Revelation introduce something far more chilling. Control. The kind that seduces the world, masquerades as peace, and eventually enslaves both body and soul. These are the beasts, monstrous figures rising not just from the abyss, but from our own deepest fears. The first beast rises from the sea, wild, unstoppable, and horrifying. It has 10 horns and 7 heads. Its body is like a leopard, its feet like a bear's, and its mouth like a lion's. Each of these animals once represented kingdoms in earlier biblical prophecy, and now they've been fused into a single monstrosity. It is given power by the dragon, Satan himself, and with that power, it conquers and rules with brutal authority. This is not merely a beast. It's a symbol of empire, of authoritarian rule cloaked in majesty. Many early Christians saw it as a direct representation of Rome, the empire that crucified their Savior and hunted them down. But Revelation's imagery transcends its time. The beast could be any political system that exalts itself above God and demands blind loyalty. Any power that devours dissent and replaces freedom with fear. The world doesn't just obey this beast, it marvels at it. That's the true terror. People don't need to be forced. They follow willingly, seduced by spectacle, strength, and the promise of safety. Then comes a second beast. This one rises from the earth. It has 2 horns like a lamb, mimicking Christ, but it speaks like a dragon. It's deception in its purest form. It uses religion, miracles, and rhetoric to convince people to worship the first beast. It is the false prophet, the voice that legitimizes tyranny by disguising it as divine will. And then, the mark. The second beast causes all people, regardless of status, to receive a mark on their right hand or forehead. Without it, they cannot buy or sell. The infamous number, 666, is introduced, a symbol both terrifying and deeply mysterious. The text says it is the number of a man and calls for wisdom. Some scholars use gematria, an ancient numerological code, to translate 666 into Nero Caesar. Others argue it's a symbol of imperfection, falling short of the divine number 777. In some traditions, it's associated with rebellion, self-exaltation, and man-made systems that mimic but corrupt divine order. But Revelation isn't obsessed with numbers. It's obsessed with meaning. The mark is not just about external branding, it's about internal allegiance. It raises piercing questions. Who do we truly serve? What are we willing to trade for comfort and control? And at what cost? We may not wear marks, but we carry choices. Every day, we decide whether to live by truth or convenience, whether to speak up or stay silent, whether to follow the Lamb or the beast. The imagery of the beasts isn't limited to end-time speculation. It is Revelation's mirror to humanity, showing what happens when we allow power to become God, and when we choose lies that feel safe over truths that are hard. And yet, even in this dark chapter, there is light, because the beasts are not the final word. Their dominion has a countdown. Their judgment is already foretold. Just when the intensity of Revelation seems to reach its limit, the vision shifts. We're no longer on earth, or in the midst of political beasts. We are lifted into the heavens. Here the drama unfolds like a mythic epic, a cosmic story older than time. The scene begins with a woman. She is clothed with the sun, the moon beneath her feet, and a crown of 12 stars atop her head. She's pregnant and in agony, crying out in the pain of childbirth. This image is radiant and royal, but also vulnerable. She stands at the center of the most celestial stage, about to bring forth something the universe has awaited. Then comes the dragon. A massive, fiery red dragon appears. It has 7 heads and 10 horns, symbols of immense power and complete corruption. Its tail sweeps 1/3 of the stars from the sky and flings them to the earth. This isn't just a creature, it is the ancient serpent himself, Satan, the accuser, the adversary. He stands before the woman, waiting to devour her child the moment he is born. But heaven intervenes. The child is caught up to God and to his throne. He is described as destined to rule all the nations with an iron scepter. Many interpret this child as Christ, his birth, resurrection, and divine enthronement condensed into one blazing moment. Others see the child as symbolic of the faithful, the ones God will ultimately protect. The woman flees into the wilderness. She is not abandoned. She is nourished there for 1,260 days. Some believe she represents Israel. Others say she symbolizes the church, the persecuted but protected community of believers. Still others find meaning in Mary, the mother of Jesus. As with many images in Revelation, the woman may embody all of these at once, an archetype of divine purpose under threat. And then, war breaks out, not on earth, but in heaven. Michael, the archangel, leads God's armies against the dragon and his angels. This is no metaphor. Revelation presents it as a literal battle between good and evil in the spiritual realm. And the dragon loses. He is hurled down, along with his angels, banished from heaven, cast to earth. There is rejoicing in heaven, but warning for the earth, because the dragon is not destroyed. He is furious, enraged, and he knows his time is short. Unable to harm the child or reach the woman, the dragon turns his fury toward the rest of her offspring, those who keep God's commands and hold fast to the testimony of Jesus. In other words, us. This isn't fantasy, it's theology wrapped in vision. Revelation shows us that spiritual warfare isn't rare, it's the backdrop of our lives. The battle between truth and deception, light and darkness, is not confined to myths or angels. It's playing out in our choices, our struggles, our resistance. The wilderness isn't just a hiding place, it's a space of divine protection and preparation. And the dragon's rage is not the end. It's a sign that evil is cornered, desperate, and close to its final defeat. As Revelation races toward its climax, the visions reach their most breathtaking intensity. The imagery becomes cosmic, the stakes eternal. We are no longer dealing with individual symbols or events. We're witnessing the end of an era and the beginning of something radically new. It begins with the fall of Babylon. Babylon, in Revelation, is not just a city. It's a symbol of human pride, moral corruption, and power abused for personal gain. It's depicted as a woman dressed in purple and scarlet, adorned with gold and jewels, drunk with the blood of the saints. She represents the seductive nature of empires that rise on the backs of the weak, glorify greed, and celebrate their own decadence. And then she falls. In a single hour, Babylon collapses. The merchants of the earth weep, not out of compassion, but because their markets have vanished. Sea captains watch in horror as smoke rises from the ruins. Kings who once shared her luxuries now stand far off, terrified of her fate. Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, they cry. The message couldn't be clearer. No matter how powerful or wealthy a system becomes, if it stands in opposition to justice, it will fall. Then comes the war to end all wars. Heaven opens, and a white horse appears. Its rider is called Faithful and True. He wears many crowns, his eyes blaze like fire, and his name is known only to himself. He is the Word of God, Christ, not in his suffering, but in his final victory. He rides with the armies of heaven, clothed in white linen, to wage war in righteousness, and he wins. The beast and the false prophet, once so powerful, are seized and thrown into the lake of fire. Satan is bound for 1,000 years, then briefly released, only to face final judgment. Evil, which once roared, now whimpers. It's not an endless fight. It ends swiftly, decisively, because light always defeats darkness when the time is right. But Revelation doesn't stop with destruction. It moves toward restoration. John sees a new heaven and a new earth. The first earth has passed away, along with pain, mourning, and death. And then comes the new Jerusalem, descending from heaven like a bride adorned for her husband. This isn't just a city, it's a promise. It's the world made right. The city's gates are always open. There's no night. There's no need for sun or moon, because the glory of God gives it light. The Lamb is its lamp. The nations bring their glory into it. And at its center flows the river of the water of life, with the tree of life on either side, yielding fruit for the healing of the nations. No more curse. No more separation. God himself dwells with his people, and they will see his face. The story that began with warnings, beasts, and chaos ends in peace. Not an escape from the world, but its complete transformation. This is Revelation's ultimate message. Not doom, but destiny. Not fear, but fulfillment. Not the end of everything, but the beginning of eternity. We've journeyed through Revelation's most haunting and hopeful visions. From the Four Horsemen riding out into chaos, to the rise of beasts and the battle of Armageddon, to the collapse of Babylon and the unveiling of a new heaven and new earth. But after all the symbols and plagues, the marks and miracles, the question remains: what does it all mean? Revelation is often misunderstood as a book of fear, but at its core, it's a book of perspective, a book of promise. It's not about predicting every twist in history. It's about preparing the heart. It asks us to see the world not just as it is, but as it truly can be. The Four Horsemen remind us that chaos is cyclical, and that humanity has faced war, famine, and death before. The beasts warn us that unchecked power and deception are not ancient myths, but modern realities. The dragon teaches us that evil is real, but so is resistance. And yet, through all the turmoil, a pattern emerges, one of endurance, one of hope. Every judgment comes with a pause. Every battle ends in peace. Every moment of despair is followed by a glimpse of glory. Revelation doesn't sugarcoat suffering. It acknowledges the cost of faith, the weight of waiting, and the darkness that often surrounds truth. But it never ends in defeat. It tells us that evil has a deadline, that justice will not be denied forever, that every prayer, every act of courage, every quiet refusal to bow to fear, it all matters. It counts. It builds toward something greater, and that something is restoration. In the end, the story isn't about escape. It's about transformation. It's about a world made whole, a God who dwells with us, a people no longer plagued by tears, sorrow, or death. Revelation closes not with destruction, but with an invitation. Come. Come to the water of life. Come to healing. Come to hope. So the next time someone says, it's the end times, maybe don't panic. Maybe smile. Because according to Revelation, the end isn't something to fear. It's the beginning of everything good. If this journey through the mysteries of Revelation opened your eyes or sparked new questions, don't stop here. Like this video, share it with someone curious, and hit subscribe for more explorations into the strange, the sacred, and the truly unforgettable.